Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today is Adam Dorn from the Fitchburg Fire Rescue. Dorn, welcome back to the program. We're talking about carbon monoxide, and it's something that you and I have talked about in the past, but nevertheless, it's still always important to talk about these things, the invisible killer, as it is called, at least on this website, which is FEMA.gov.
Right. It's a great website. If you've never taken the time to look at that website, go check it out. There's tons of information out there.
You are absolutely right. So we're going to try to dive into this, break it down a little bit about what it is, what you can do to prevent it, and hopefully you can take some things away of preparing yourself essentially for an exposure of this. Overall, the big question, what is it? What is carbon monoxide?
Carbon monoxide is an odorless, colorless gas. You may hear it referred to as CO. That's just the shortened version for carbon monoxide. It's a odorless, colorless gas that is can be created from fuel burning appliances or machines, like a heater or a generator, when they're not working or vented properly. And when you breathe in high levels of carbon monoxide, it can be fatal.
That is true, and the signs and symptoms of this could be somewhat common to maybe a stomach ache, maybe you're nauseous, maybe you're dizzy. So it can be hard to kind of right away understand what is really going on if you've been exposed.
Right, yeah. Like you said, they're very similar to that of the flu sometimes, but without the fever. With the flu, you generally have a fever. With carbon monoxide poisoning, you don't have that fever. But like you had said, sometimes you'll see headaches, there'll be fatigue, shortness of breath, nausea, some dizziness. Dizzies, never good. Those are some of the initial symptoms that you might see from low grade or medium, moderate grade carbon monoxide poisoning. Some of the higher level stuff, you can see some mental confusion start. Like, it's a new onset. The person normally doesn't act like this, but they're not completely functioning in their mental capacity that they normally do. When it gets really bad, you'll see some vomiting. They might be stumbling, lose their muscle coordination. Some of the very severe cases, you'll have loss of consciousness and also death. So that's why it's extremely important to make sure that you do have carbon monoxide detectors in your home.
Yeah, there's been unfortunate cases in Dane County alone with carbon monoxide, as it is the silent killer. I've also heard of cases of it paralyzes you, where you can't even move. You're still there mentally, but you literally can't move. When you guys respond to any type of possible CO, or you're responding to somebody that's reporting dizziness, how do you approach that from the fire department when you guys get there?
So we will be completely geared up in our structure fire equipment. One of the things that we take inside in addition to that is a 4-gas monitor. And our 4-gas monitor will monitor oxygen, carbon monoxide, hydrogen sulfide, and I can't remember what the fourth one is right now off the top of my head.
I'm assuming it's like combustible.
It's in the bottom left corner. I know that. So it measures 4 things. So we will also take that in with us when we go. And we work through the house in a systematic manner. We'll start at the front door. We'll close the front door because that's most likely how the building was when this happened. So if we leave a door open, fresh air is introduced, and then we can actually offset the actual readings in there, and it won't be accurate. So we work through each level of the home. We'll check, the gas-fired appliances, find out from the resident if they were using a vehicle in the garage, if they were warming it up. Some people do warm up a vehicle in the garage. It's highly...
Don't do it. I can be the voice of reason here. Yes. Don't do that.
Yes, do not do that. It is not a safe practice, just for this reason alone. So yeah, that's what we do. And then if we do find high levels of carbon monoxide in the home, we will actually back out of the home. We'll put our face pieces on so we're breathing good air from our bottles, and we'll go back in and try and figure out where in the home it is where this is possibly coming from. And then we will call MG&E or Alliant Energy, whichever one it is in our area, to help with the problem.
Is this a combustible gas?
Combustible gas?
I think there's been a lot of misnomer. Let's just specifically focusing on just CO in itself. When you're going in here, obviously, if you've got this gas in your house, this invisible gas and stuff, but are we talking about a blowing up situation here or something? Are we really talking about more on the health side of things and getting away from there?
Okay. So in this case, it's more of the health side. It is not going to, you may have other contributing factors that could play into something.
And thank you. This is a loaded question. I mean, honestly, but takeaway here again is this invisible gas piece can be leaking in the house. You don't know it. You need to get out. And if you are outside of the house and you're alerted that this is going on, what would you recommend?
If you're outside of the house and you have one of the new fancy detectors in your home where it somehow can get a hold of your phone and say, hey, there's something going on, right? Best thing you can do is actually call 911, say, here's the situation. Let them know you're not home, but you have been given information through your home system that this is what's taking place and that you're on your way home or someone is going to meet you there.
That's the best way to stay. Yeah, don't go in the house and take care of it. And you guys are on a rescue first basis, and then check for everything on where somebody may have been exposed.
Right. And on those same lines, if you come home and the alarm is going off, don't go in your home. All right, stay out. Say, here's what's going on. I'm staying outside of the home, and wait for us to get there, and then we'll help you. If you are in your home and this goes on, make sure you just don't write this off as the battery is going dead. Some people have done that. We don't want that to be the case because bad things can happen then. If you're in your home and it goes off, treat it just like a smoke detector. Get out, stay out till we get there, call 911, let us come in and handle the situation.
Adam, always a pleasure. Certainly get those alarms in your house. Quickly, you recommend placing these detectors where?
One on every level where there's a gas-fired appliance, outside of every sleeping area. So if you have a furnace in the basement, you want one down in the basement area. If you have a gas-fired fireplace or stove on your main level, you need a carbon monoxide detector there. If you also have a sleeping area that's opposite side of the house, you should have a carbon monoxide detector outside of that sleeping area. Then if you have bedrooms on the second floor, you also need one up there.
And should these be placed high or low?
It really doesn't matter because if you look at carbon monoxide detectors, they've been integrating them with smoke detectors as well. The density of it is almost equal to air, so it mixes fairly well. It used to be thought that they needed to be down low, and they started putting them in smoke detectors. So it mixes pretty well. Just don't put it directly next to the item that's being used or fueled by the gas, and other than that, you should be okay. Check them every 7 years. Replace them every 7 years, I should say. Check them every month. Make sure they're working.
And by the way, if there is an actual exposure, you got to replace them.
You got
at
to
that point.
Yep.
So this isn't a reusable type of thing.
Right.
It's a one and done scenario, and be at the best interest for you. Adam, thank you so much for the tips. Always a pleasure to have you on here. We'll have you back for more tips soon.
All right. Thanks, Jeremy.
All right. We'll take a quick break. You are watching Talking Fitchburg.